Yeah, followed with date function. Guys, listen. When you have a column, date of joining, date of purchase, date of birth, and you declared with the data type date, at the time of table creation, if you have a data type date function, I can able to perform certain operation with my date. Listen carefully. So if you have a number, let's say 120, I can add 10. If you have number 120, I can minus 10. So let's assume you have a date, and this is a format in MySqL. So I have date. So let's assume you have employee details with all details of employee plus date of joining. So I want to calculate experiences of that employee based on a date of joining. Is it possible to calculate experiences in month, year?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's assume I joined in the year 2020. As on today's date, I want to know, let's assume 32 months experience or 2.6 months experience, something like that. So if you have a date, if I want to perform arithmetic operation, can I do plus 10? Can I do minus 10? I cannot do a regular arithmetic operation with my date. So always whenever I am working with my date type, I need to ensure that whether I want to add 10 days, whether I want to add 10 months, whether I want to add 10 years in the form of intervals, in what type of interval I want to add. You got my point. If let's assume today's date is there, you want to take a next dose of medicine. Another 40 days you need to come for a review. So with today's date, I will add 40 days. If it is an EMI, I will calculate based on months. So always you will perform an operation on a date with respective to interval, date interval, month interval, and year interval. Lot more you will do with the date. See, if you are working in an organization, so many employees will be there. So based on your date of birth, are you getting birthday wishes? Or not only with company? So what with if you have registered anything with the web application, so based on the date, you are getting the birthday wish, or you take what is this Facebook, this recollecting the memories of your post or photos. 5 years back, you have posted a picture today. So today it will remind you with the appropriate date. So many operations we are doing with date in real world application. You just relate it. So this birthday or age calculation, experience calculation, this doses in hospital, next checkup. Think about it. So we have, as I said, the tabular column is limited with 4 or 5, but we have so many functions. We have many string functions, many date functions. So the few functions are in front of you. Add date. So I will be calling the method add date. I'll pass whatever the date, comma, interval on what? Interval of 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years. So if I want to get, if I pass a parameter, from that parameter, I want to retrieve the date format. I'll be using date of, if you pass date and time, you will get only date, full date. Select month. If you pass date and if you call month, it will retrieve 8th month. So if you give month name, it will give July. Take a snap, and in order to get today's date, we have a function called as current date. to get the today's local date from your machine, we will use current date. So it will return year, month and date. So these are the functions. Add date, add time. See here, so many are there. Alphabetical order, it has been date, add, date underscore add, format, date subtraction, date difference. So these are the, take a snap of this, you can try. So these day of the month, day of the week, day of the year, in a month. Today on which date? In an year. So out of those 300 days, which date we are in. So various functions are there, current time. So various mathematical functions are there which deals with only numeric values. So we are aware of floor, seal, square root, power, absolute. So apart from that, many more functions are there. Floor, seal, and here they have give contingent function. I think we have some formula for this. So sine, cos, all those mathematical, pi, power. So select title, comma, round. Rental rate to be rounded with 1 decimal point. We can get it. We will use this round. Some time back, I used this. Let me try round here. I want to round the data with 2-digit precision. So guys, I have calculated the discount price for 20%. I want to go for a discount sale. I have calculated the discount price, but if I give, I'm getting a default precision of 4. Sorry, here should be round. So if I want to get the output with the precision of 2 point, earlier I got by default 4-digit precision. So I want only 2-digit precision. I can call the numeric function round. Guys, are you with me? Sometime back, I calculated a discount price for 20%. So I got 4-digit precision. I don't want 4. I want only 2-digit. Possible with the help of round. Information functions are used to query the system table. So I have created a database and table. Later, if I want to know more information about my MySqL, for example, I want to know who was the current user, what version I am using, what schema I am using, what is the database I am working. So those predefined system information I can retrieve with the help of information function. Make a note of it. Select current user. By default, it is root user. So if you have given an additional user's name, one server, many users, it will retrieve the respective username. Current user. The current user which is connected to the instance of MySQL is root at localhost. So likewise, if I want to retrieve the connection ID, make a note of it. Select current user, select connection ID, select database, select version. I will be sharing more list with many information from predefined information schema. The current version of MySQL I'm using is 8.0.27. One second. So I'll share you this official site link, developer.mysql.com. So as I said, whatever the function shared in our slide, it is 4 or 5, but in real, we have lot functions. If you take string function, can you see? Starting from ASCII. I'm scrolling down, these many functions are there. If you take, copy this URL. If you take numerical function, see, absolute, arc, cosine, sine, tan, seal, converse, so many, cot. Let's look into date time function. So these many functions are there for date. Can you see? Alphabetical order, it has been arranged. Whenever it is required, you need to use appropriate functions. One another topic is information function. Information about the current connection, database, and your server. The current database which I am working, after some time you want to know where you have triggered all your table queries, everything. So you can retrieve with the help of schema. Schema represents your current database. Likewise, lot more information functions are there. So later, whenever if you want to work with your date, string or numbers with respective to format conversion, do it appropriately. Guys, are you with me? I've shared few links. Refer it. Whenever it is required, you can use. So apart from that, we have some casting function, conversion function. In order to convert the value of one data type into another data type, MySQL provides binary. So in order to compare byte by byte value, again I'm repeating, even though we are in advanced technology, machine will store the data in what? Whatever the data we are handling everywhere. Machine will store the data in the form of binary, zeros and ones. Isn't it or not? So if I want to convert any of my data to binary, or if I want to compare with the binary data, I can use binary. Allows us to compare byte by data. Someone is asking about case sensitive. No, guys, listen. So if I want to fetch only capital letter, let's take the title should be African egg. In such situation, instead of comparing, select star from film where title equal to African egg, you can go for binary of African egg where it will compare by converting the data into binary so that accurate uppercase letter it will compare and it will retrieve. So takes the value of one type and produce the another type is your cast method. Select payment ID, customer ID, cast, payment date will be converted as date and it will display your output. Cast and convert are conversion function from one type to another type. If it is same type, you can use cast. From one data type to another data type, it is convert. So I am converting all the payment type to date type. Again, you cannot convert string to integer, string to date. Same group of data you can convert and you can display in an upper. For example, I have created a table by specifying my date of birth as character, varchar. Is it possible? Date of birth I am specifying as varchar of some 50 and I have stored all my dates in the proper format. Can I convert this date of birth to date format? Which is possible with the help of convert. Whereas I cannot convert this to integer or any integers to date format. Only if you have a proper data, then you can go for conversion. In order to summarize the value of n number of columns or set of columns matching with my condition, and in order to produce a single value, single scalar value, we will use aggregate function. Aggregate functions are known as group function. So it provides some 6-7 aggregate function. Guys, listen. Average, sum, minimum, maximum, count. So these aggregate functions will be applied only for numeric type. And the speciality is, even though I applied aggregate function for any number of rows, it will return one single scalar value. All of you, please pay attention. So let's assume I am executing my table. So I want to find sum of all the stock. Is it possible? Being say a store manager, I want to know how many stocks available. Instead of doing a manual counting in SQL, we have some aggregate function. I want to know how many number of products available. I can use aggregate function. So I have 422 products. So I want to know maximum stock. So if I want to know minimum number of stock, I want to know average price. Guys, listen carefully. So this is my table, consists of 10 records. So all the column value will be sum, or out of all the 10 value, it will retrieve the maximum stock. Maximum stock is 75. Minimum stock is 12. Average price of all the product is 58,000. And also we have the one more aggregate function called as count, not null values. For example, how many product I have in a table, not null. It will not count null value. So I want to know how many records available in my table. So I can use count function. Guys, are you with me? So I have 10 records. If this is with particular column, not null values. If I want to count the number of rows, I cannot do manual counting. I can use count of star, which indicates how many number of columns available in my whichever the database. Let's assume faculty. So in a faculty, I want to know how many number of rows available. So I have 3 rows. So those functionality you can get with the help of aggregate. So we will use aggregate in many applications. Make a note of it.
Ma'am, can you explain the cast from the previous slide?
Okay. Let's assume payment date. You have defined it as date time, and that you want to convert it as date type. I cannot cast other data type to the date type. Assume like I have created a payment date and which is of data type date and time. Date time. There is a data type called as date time. If I want to convert date time data type to date, I can use cast function. Or else, if I created a payment date as varchar, but I have stored only date format here. In such situation, I can convert varchar payment date type to date data type.
Okay, ma'am, I get it. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, you can try. It's not a big deal. So because whatever the table I created, I missed this date. You add a column employee, or else in yesterday's sprint, do we have anything called as date? Sales table or orders table? Do you have date? Then you can work on it.
Yes, ma'am. Order date was there.
Count, minimum, maximum, sum. Don't forget, aggregate function will summarize the value of all the columns and produce a single value. So I assume like I have a table. I want to know the stock of sum of stocks of only Dell product. What we can do? I thought this question will be arised. So I want to know only the total stock of Dell product.
Where
Condition.
Where Pname is
equal to Dell.
So the total stock available is wait, 422. So whereas Dell product stock is available is 165. This is also possible. So total number of Dell laptops available in your store is 165. You can give Alice name also for the column, which is also possible. As I said, we will use aggregate function lot. One second. Please work on aggregate. We will use a lot of aggregate in future. Moving on to the last topic for the day, sorting and grouping. So in order to sort alphabetical order, ascending order, or descending order, we will use the technical term called as order by. Order by is along with select statement will display the records in whatever the order, increasing order, decreasing order. So select star from product. No where class. Guys, listen carefully. In order to sort the record, don't use where. Where will not come. You simply use order by. Can I use order by price? I want to view the product detail based on increasing order of price. Are you getting the output? Whereas the opposite, I want to view the descending order of price. Just add the word DESC, story over. So can you look into the data? I have 10 records. the data is displayed in such the way, ascending order of price. The opposite. Descending order of price. Whereas I want to view only Dell product price in descending order. Is it possible? I think this first. Are you guys with me? I know I went a little bit fast, but the sorting are not new to you all. Sorting.
Yes.
Here we are achieving sorting with order by. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And always this order by is the last statement you want to append with the query. I have shuffled order by and this price name next. It's thrown an error. So guys, always filter the data first, then you apply sorting. So ascending order, descending order, along with filtering. I want to view only Dell product. There were 3 Dell product and I want to display the product based on descending price. Line number 127 is clear.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Aggregate function, date function, conversion function, information function, and the last one is sorting. The last, we have group by. Before that, sorting the data. For sure, we need to sort the data. Sorting can be achieved with the help of keyword order by space. By default, what order I want to give? Price. Can I give order by what? Name? Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am.
Alphabetical order, it will be sorted. See here. Name, product name in alphabetical order. A, D, H, L. In reverse is also possible. After column name, you append the word descending. DESC. No where class. If you want add all the where, filter the record, then you sort it. Moving to the last and important topic, group by class, grouping. Guys, listen carefully. The last topic, but a confusing topic. You are hearing this topic maybe for the first time. What do you mean by the term grouping? Group by. The last topic is group by. So before that, what is your understanding of the word grouping?
Combining.
Multiple records. Correct.
Combining.
Collecting statement.
Think. No. I haven't
Combining.
received the accurate word. Grouping. Groups.
Set of objects.
So I want to, if I have 100 records, so based on any column, I'm going to group the data. Let's assume 100 records is grouped into 10 groups or 5 groups. Each group holding approximately some 20 records. You got it? Let's assume I have college students' details. All my college consists of some 500 students of some 4 departments. So based on department, can I group student?
Yes, ma'am.
So CSE department, I have some 98 students in one group. ECE department, I have some 111 students in another group. Civil, I have some 100 students. And MEC, so roughly around 188 students. So I have 500 students in a table. Based on my department name, I'm going to group students. So 500 will be divided into 4 groups. On 4 groups, I can apply any aggregate function and I can achieve the result. I am splitting the data based on different groups based on any of the column available in my table. And after grouping, I'm going to get some aggregate function result. Group by class summarize the result set into groups. I am going to get the summarized result based on the groups which I have specified. So we will use the keyword called as group by. We have a strict rule. When I use group by at the right hand side of my query, left hand side I should have an aggregate. For example, if you take the query which is in front of you in an example, select customer ID, sum of amount from table name, group by customer ID. Based on customer ID, I am grouping, and based on that group, I am finding the sum of the amount. So if you use group by at right side of the query, left hand side, there should be one aggregate, not only sum, minimum, maximum, average, any. This is a mandatory rule for your group by class. I'll tell you why and why are we using this. Okay, I can take my product itself. Listen carefully. So let's assume I have product. Let's assume I want to retrieve the result. Sum of stocks based on product name. Is it possible? Let's assume I have how many products? Dell, HP, Lenovo, Acer, 4 products. I don't know, any number of products may be there. So based on my product brand, I want to know how many stocks available in my showroom. Here I have calculated manually, but I am telling like 4 brand. But in real world, we don't know how many products we have, product brand we have. So in order to retrieve the total stock, I can use this syntax. So guys, listen carefully. In order to retrieve sum of all the stock, I will use this line, aggregate. If I want to know sum of stock of Dell, I'll be using this query. If I want to know about HP stock, I will use. Instead, I want to know each product stock. By using single query with single tabular output, I want to know. How can you achieve? We can achieve with the help of group by class. Shall I try the query?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, I assume like we are running a showroom. I am selling all these laptops, and every laptop I have these many number of stocks. At the end of the day, I want to know each brand how many laptops are there. Then only I can calculate today morning and today evening how many sales I made. What is a maximum sale? Which product has been sold on which date? So many things are there. So instead of having these 4 lines separately, I can combine everything. So select product name, comma, sum of stock. Listen carefully. From product, what? Group by product name. So what my environment, MySqL will do is, so MySqL will group all the product. For example, so it will take Acer, it will take Dell, it will take HP, it will take Lenovo. So it will group 2, 3, 2, 3. Out of these first group, this is first group, it will sum up the stock. In second group in Dell, it will take all the 3 value, it will do sum up, and HP sum up and Lenovo sum up, and then it will display the record. Story over. So I have 165 stock in Dell. 106 laptops in HP. Acer, I have only 38. Lenovo, 113. Is it meaningful?
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot use group by without aggregate. Only with aggregate, my group by will be a meaningful. See, you assume like you are maintaining a college mark sheet. So I want to know maximum mark in subject wise, max. What is the maximum mark among all the students? Possible. Grouping, it's very important. As I said, it will group. I'll show you. So what my machine will do is it will group based on product. So it will take 4 groups. Out of each group, it will do sum. Not only sum, you can do average, you can do maximum, you can do minimum. So let's assume I want to know which laptop is having maximum stock in my showroom. Possible. So in Dell, under Dell brand, Dell Precision, I have maximum stock 75. HP Pavilion is with 56. Lenovo Slim with 50. Aspire Acer laptop with 26. I have various brands, various configurations, various machines. Out of that, which is having maximum stock? I can come to a conclusion. These are all having maximum. So I don't want to fill the stock. Or whichever is having minimum stock, I need to fill on which brand. Are they doing it? Yes. So I'm taking minimum stock of the laptop, and if I want to refill, go ahead with the query. It's very important in a query. If you have group by at right hand side, left hand side, there should be what? Aggregate query. And one more last point I want to add with group by is we can add a filter condition in my query by using var class. Whereas if you are using group by, if I want to add a condition, I cannot use var class. Instead, we are using having. Having is similar to var class in my group by query to apply any condition. For example, whichever the sum of stock is greater than 50, I want to display that alone. So by default, if I retrieve total sum of stock is Dell 165, HP 106, Lenovo 113, Acer 38. So out of 4 records, I want to filter the condition stating that whichever the sum is greater than 50, I want to retrieve that record alone. Instead of where, you can add having clause. Having will not come along with one any other query. It will come along with only group by clause. So group by will add a filter condition with the help of having. So out of this, whichever the sum of stock is 50, that alone will be retrieved. I know the last part alone, it's completely new to you. I'll repeat again. Group by, grouping my data into, segregating my whole data into different groups. Imagine like you have some 100 balls. So based on the color, so you are putting each ball in a different basket. That is grouping. Again, on top of it, I want to account how many number of balls are available in different basket. Is it possible? The same thing is applicable here. So don't forget, we will always apply group by to brand name, subject name, or date basis on meaningful columns. I cannot apply to primary key. Primary key is unique. If I have 100, it will create 100 groups. It is meaningful. Other than primary key, whichever the data is repeated, and I can make various groups among the data, you apply group by. Yes, Arshad. So if you want, please take a snap of this order and group by for your reference.
Yes, ma'am. The next slide. Okay, ma'am. Done.
Which one? We can. But aggregate function will be applied only for numeric type. Right hand side you can use. Aggregate is applicable only for numeric type. Having class filters a group of records based on the condition. If you use group by without aggregate, it will throw an error. So since all these are coming under query practicing, you can practice with the existing table, or I'm sharing the third sprint, which is a continuation of sprint 2. So guys, in sprint 2, you have created a table and you have inserted records. You remember these records? So in today's sprint, you are going to retrieve the record using select query with the existing data. Only if you have completed second sprint, you can continue with third sprint. You need to use order table, customer table, and salesperson table, which you have created in the prior sprint. And there were some 20 problem statement. Each 20, you need to write a single line query. Is it possible? 100% possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Use yesterday's database. For example, find the records in customer table with default value given in the city column. Customer table. Where is customer table? So in customer table, if I provide city is equal to London, I want to retrieve only whomsoever customer belongs to the city name London. You need to write a single line query and have it in your have it with you, and then you continue with second. Is it possible to find the salesperson whose name starts with P and fourth character is L?
Like operator.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Whomsoever customer belongs from San Francisco, Brazil, London. So everything is possible. All are simple. Whomsoever received the highest commission, maximum commission. List 3 salesperson who have least commission rate. Sorted it and display the first 3 record in the ascending order. You will get the least commission rate. See, that's what I'm telling. 20 queries, 20 question task. Each 20 task you can achieve with one line query. So complete it in another 1 hour. So that whomsoever have not completed the presentation, please give it on the afternoon. Yes, any doubts? That's okay, that's okay. If it is there, let's see. I don't think ASCII they have mentioned. Go for a regular case. I don't remember we had worked on these operations. So if it is Jenny, you go for capital Jenny or small Jenny. Leave. We have a lot more functions to test. So least bother about these cases. Yeah, I've shared third sprint. Complete it.